close by my side. When I'm left alone and feel all hope is gone, I kneel down and call on his name. I know what he'll do. He's faithful and true. My God will never change. I know what he'll do. He's faithful and true. My God will never change. Amen. Isn't that wonderful? My God's faithful and true. This revival has been so good for us, and the reason there's such a sweet spirit here today is so many of our church family was there every single night. The teenagers got a burden to come and help us, the singles, and I think some nights we ran 2 vans, and Westcourt has 3 sections. We've got a lot of church family that lives in McDowell County. So the first 2 or 3 rows in each section every night was sort of Trinity territory. And they were there praying. And boy, did I preach off their back. It was wonderful to have that prayer help. Samuel, come here just a moment. God's been doing a great work with Samuel, and while he was in Costa Rica, boy, he and Brother Dwight, every time I turned around, they was both squalling and getting blessed, and God was... My allergies. These are allergies. His eyes kept leaking or something. I don't know what it was. But you know, God moved in the meeting, and I just wanted Samuel to give a testimony because he used to serve the devil down in that part of McDowell County, and he ran into a couple of people, and I just thought it was so powerful. I wanted him to tell you.
Yeah. God saved me. God saved me when I was 21 years old, and I served him, and he blessed my life. And then I turned away from him, and I ran from a calling that he put on my life. And I did my best to drown it out with drugs and alcohol.
God bless you, boy.
But we serve a good God.
Yes, we do.
It's long-suffering and merciful.
Yep.
I surrounded myself with people that were in the world that didn't care about God, so I wouldn't have to hear that. And I tried to drown it out the best I could. And I stayed in that state for probably 6 years, almost. But down in Rutherford County, I got a mom and daddy that were praying for me. And over on Shelburne Road, there's a church that still prays. And God listened, and he came and got me out of a dope house over in West Asheville. And I praise his name for it. I thank him for his mercy, and I thank him for his grace. I don't have to be a slave to sin no more. Anyway, while we were down there in the meeting, I saw an old boy that looked familiar. He'd been in the altar the night before. And I went in the restroom, and God checked my heart. He said, you need to tell him what God did for you. And I started telling him. I told him how God brought me out of, cocaine and amphetamines. And that's almost impossible by yourself. I tried it by myself, but with God, you can't. And I got to telling him, and he looked at me like I had 2 heads. He said, I know you. He said, I used to buy drugs from you. And God checked me right there. He said, I'm still working. I'm still answering prayer. And it still works. If you got a family member, that white card that comes in our bulletin, my name used to be on that. And it's because people prayed that I'm able to be here right now. God woke me up sober this morning. He woke me up in my right mind, free in Jesus. Amen. Amen.
Hallelujah. You'll never know what God's going to do. You say, well, why did somebody shout or cry? Because they've been to the wall, hopeless and helpless. There's people in this building sat with a pistol to take their life. Couldn't wait for the rising of the sun, too dark. Put the pills and the liquor by the bed and said, this is the night I'm going to end it. And here you are serving God. Can God? God can. And we got people we love that's out in the world. They're not here this morning. Families are fractured. People are running from God. When people get bad off in sin, Samuel preached a message to you. He was trying to drown with methamphetamine and alcohol and crack cocaine. He was trying to drown what was preaching on the inside. And it doesn't work.